Hi, everyone, and welcome to Live Your Happy TV. I am so honored and so blessed to continue to bring you this amazing content every week and interview exciting new teachers, people that I feel are doing a lot for this consciousness where we stand in this world, and this CF of a world, I like to call it. And you guys can Google what that is. So we have these amazing teachers that are here, such lights in this world that I love to bring on to share their wisdom and to share how they live their happy and how they practice daily these principles from this amazing book called A Course in Miracles. So speaking about the Course in Miracles, this week we have an amazing teacher. She teaches here in LA, and I'll put those details later in the comments below or in the description below, as well as she is a hypnotherapist, a certified hypnotherapist, which I want to talk to her about because I want to do hypnotherapy. So I'm going to talk to her a little bit about that. She also has an amazing podcast. It's an audio podcast. It's global. And I've been on it myself, and I've actually heard really great things about it from my manager, Stephanie, that she listens in every week. And also my ex-assistant, also Lex, used to hear her, and she's amazing. True Forgiveness Teachings, it's called, and we'll put information of that on the description as well. But let's get back to the happy business, because that's what we're here to discuss. Everyone, let's welcome Jackie. Jackie, thanks for being here.
Woo! Hello, everyone. Hello, beautiful Maria. And thank you so much. I'm honored to be on Live Your Happy TV.
It suits you because, you and that smile, you could be like a poster child for it.
Thank you. Filled with joy. Yes. Inner joy, right?
Yeah, and it's beautiful because I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you lately because I had my baby shower and you were there, and also Cindy, your sister, Cindy Renard, Jackie. For those that don't know, Jackie is Cindy's sister, who's married to Gary Renard. So that's how we all know each other,
connected. Yeah,
connected, and it's been just so beautiful how our friendship has flourished and how kind of spirit's bringing us together more and more. And we get to collaborate in things like this. So, Jackie, I wanted to ask you a few questions throughout this, 20 minutes that we're going to be together. And I just wanted to start with, I know that you are a fan of Ken Wapnick, and I wanted to know how his teachings have influenced your life.
Wow, that is a great question. Let's see, 20 minutes? Yes, I'm such a big fan of Ken Wapnick, and he really helped clarify the non-dualistic message of A Course in Miracles for me, which the non-dualistic message is that God is the only reality, right? And everything else is of our making. And so his prolific work and giving us commentary on the lessons and the manual for teachers and the text itself really helps undo the ego so we can really live in the happy dream of forgiveness here while we're awakening to our true identity as spirit. So it's really been amazing, his work and his teachings.
Yeah, if anybody wants to know more about Ken Wapnick, he's actually everywhere on YouTube, so you can go ahead and search him. And Jackie and I, highly suggest that you can use it as a resource because he's an amazing teacher. Also, I actually just read a book that he wrote that's called Parents and Children: The Most Difficult Classroom.
Yes. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Right when I got pregnant,
you and baby Ari.
Right when I got pregnant, I bought that book like right away because I was like, I want to be able to really integrate the principles of the Course in Miracles in my motherhood and as a mother to Ari. And it's been so powerful. And it's actually, I thought the book was going to be all about basically parenting, but actually the book is on healing your relationship with your parents.
Yeah.
I was like, what is going on here? But it's because that's the way that you're a good parent, is by healing your relationship with your parents.
Right. It's Maria.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Isn't it interesting how everything comes back to our own stuff and how we're looking at everything? right?
Yes, it's
I
true.
mean, it's just amazing. I have to tell you a funny story really quick.
Yes, please.
Before we were logging on, I just grabbed my course book and stuff like that, and I was just kind of looking through. I literally opened to Forgiveness is the Key to Happiness, lesson
Of course you
121,
did.
because that's my favorite lesson. Mark is my witness. This fell out of that page. I kid you not. I just thought to open it, and this fell out. I said, "Oh, it's meant to
Oh,
be
oh
our
my
interview
God.
today."
I just love how spirit works, and it's so interesting because people will think like that's a coincidence. No. What happens is when you start to get really connected to spirit, the symbols are epic and they're intense because they're in your face.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But I interrupted kind of the earlier point you were making, which was that, the course is always teaching us we are the dreamer of the dream, not the figure in the dream. So we always have to bring things back to the self. And Jesus always also says in the course to teach us to demonstrate. So in relation to you and Ari, and now you're talking about, gosh, I'm a parent and everything, living the principles coming from how you're thinking, whatever your interaction is with little cutie. That's the healing is in the mind. And the power of the mind is so strong, as you know, that the Holy Spirit right mind will direct all your functioning here
Yeah,
without ego
and I
interference.
love that you brought that up because um being a mom and going to, like, for instance, my Wednesday lactation group support group, I see a lot of mothers suffering and I see them having a really hard time, which I also had myself when I first had the baby. I went through a lot of challenges of having balance, of having this new
Yes.
person in my relationship with Christian, and everything was just like really, really challenging. And I remember that the only way that I was able to come back to center was because of the tools of understanding that it's all in the mind, and the teacher I'm going
Beautiful.
to choose within my mind, Holy Spirit or ego, constantly. And
Beautiful.
and it took something, and I really had to work it. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I was like, oh my God, am I going to lose my mind now? Like, is like Maria Felipe from Live Your Happy known to have like a breakdown and literally die? Is like, is that what's gonna happen
Right.
here? Because if I don't kick my Holy Spirit voice up into gear right now, I'm gonna fucking die.
Right. Oh,
That's
we feel that way, don't we? Oh my
that's
gosh.
how I felt. And I love that you said about the mind, because a lot of these parents, or these new girls that are new parents, or just anybody in general, doesn't even have to be parents. It all starts with the mind, and I feel that when you know, what teacher, if you have Holy Spirit and ego, then you're good and you just follow. But they have all these books for when you're pregnant, Jackie, like, 12 hours to let your baby sleep 12 hours, or get your baby to sleep 12 hours. I don't know, whatever it is. I
Right,
don't read I
right.
don't read them, but they exist, and they're very helpful. They're very helpful. But at the end of the day, it goes back to your mind, because my baby could sleep 12 hours, but if my mind is not in check after those 12 hours that my baby slept, I'm going to tell Christian off because he didn't do the garbage the way he wanted to, even though my baby slept 12 hours. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you're
It's
so
always
right when you
something.
say it starts with the mind.
It does. It does. And you know what is so interesting, Maria, that I've found with my practice of the course? You know, and as you know already, it's not what we're doing, it's who we're doing it with. So
Mhm.
I can be with my baby in irritation, or I can be with my baby in peace. Me getting triggered because Christian didn't take out the garbage, your example, I can make that real and be an irritation, or say, gosh, that would have been really helpful to me, or whatever it is, or come from peace. It's always, what is our starting point?
Mm.
Where are we starting from? You asked about Ken Wapnick earlier. Can I share this example that
Yes, please.
he used to give about what is our starting point? And I'm paraphrasing this, but he reached in to kiss Gloria, his wife, once because she was sick. And she said, "Oh, no, don't kiss me. You'll get sick." He said, "Oh, no, I'm going to kiss you and give you my wellness."
Oh my God, I love that.
And isn't that beautiful? And it clarifies that what is our starting point? So if we start and make it a decision to start with the Holy Spirit or Jesus every day, we're already setting ourselves up to be miracle ready instead of judgment ready. So
Mm.
when that opportunity comes up, that red flag, we're never deprived of our opportunities, are we? Forgiveness opportunities. When those come up, we're already almost in a miracle state of readiness. I talk about this in the forthcoming book. Instead of being judgment ready, which, boy, when we're in the ego thought system, we're poised to attack.
Mm.
But if we can remember to stop and say, "Oh my gosh, you know what? Making this very real right now. I can still get my point across. I can still have my preferences, but I can either be irritated or peaceful while I'm doing it." Right? It's very
Yeah.
interesting.
And I love how you call it judgment ready or miracle ready. I think it's very easy, tangible, and practical. So I'm happy that you're gonna share about that in your upcoming book that's gonna be out next year. And I'll
Yeah, I think
definitely.
this year, book one.
Oh, really? Oh,
This
wonderful.
year, just unslated for this year. Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Hopefully people will find it helpful. So,
Yeah, I'm sure, especially with everything that you're riffing about today in regards to
mm,
how practical also you talk about it, which is I love to have teachers on that um, are practical because I feel that I suffered so long with, self-help books and
yes,
that
yes.
type of genre. And I never was really happy. And I think it had a lot to do with really having people write books that really bring it into like what I did with Live Your Happy, which is really integrate the principles in your life and how to do that at a consistent level without compromise, you know?
Oh, yes. Love your book, Live Your Happy.
And this whole thing about thank you, and this whole thing about the mind, it's so powerful. And I want to stay on this subject just because I feel that it's just a powerful subject. Um, you're so right, because when I'm with Ari, I can choose two ways of being. And a lot of people say that some children are really easy and some children are very difficult depending on their personalities. And yes, to a certain extent, form, I agree. Although it's interesting because also Ari could also, for me, feel like he's hard if I perceive him that way. You see, because if
Yes.
he's being fussy about anything, I could be like, oh, coming from my ego, oh my God, like this kid's being such a pain in the butt right now. Like, can you please stop crying? Or I can just be very gentle and see it another way and invite Holy Spirit in my mind to perceive my child differently and kind of rock him, give him some kisses. And maybe he might not be quiet, but my perception of him would be that he's easy because it comes from me. It comes
Yeah.
from me if he's a pain in the butt child or not. It really comes from me. And I feel that that's a lot of people don't get that. They are victims of the world they see by thinking that their children are good or bad. And children aren't good or bad or easier or harder. It's just how you perceive them and how you're being with them.
Excellent. Beautifully said. And I would suggest one thing that goes along with what you explained so well is that we're automatically going to do that. Like, oh, with a
Yes.
child or a spouse or a boss or a coworker. So part of the practice of A Course in Miracles is we've already done that. We've gone the, ah. So we don't want to feel guilty about that. We want to look right at that. Look at the, with Jesus by our side. And he's going to tell us, hey, it's okay. You can now choose once again. We're not always going to be able to respond peacefully, but part of the work is when we don't respond peacefully, we
Mm.
now know there's another choice. It's so powerful. Think of a time, all of us, I get a lot of questions from clients and they say, I just don't feel like I'm making progress. And I say, you know what? The ego will never let you look. If you look without judgment and just observe your, there I go again, do it just as lightly, no judgment of yourself, that is the choice for the Holy Spirit. Because the ego would never let you look. The ego cannot survive without judgment. But don't we always beat ourselves up? So instead, when the comes, let's script it out. We've already done it. But in that moment, we go, oh, that's my opportunity. That's my forgiveness opportunity to go back to the mind because I don't feel peaceful right now and I can make another choice. Right?
Yeah, and it's so practical too. And
It
I
is.
love the part that you talk about because I think it's important. It stands out to me because it's something that I love so beautifully expressed, which is the part that you say basically just even being aware and like stopping yourself and looking at it is a
That's
huge,
progress.
it's
That's
progress, and it's
progress.
already taking you into right mind. Just the
Yes.
awareness of it. And I feel people don't realize that because you're so in ego that you feel that nothing's working. But just you
Right.
realizing that you can make a choice is you're headed back home. And
Yes.
I really like that. I really like
Remember a
that.
time when all of us didn't know, or I'll speak for myself, when I didn't know about that? Two parts of the mind were lost in the ego mind. So that's progress. It's progress just knowing, you know what? I'm too mad to make the choice right now because I want to be mad, but I know I can do it. I know I can do it if I want to. That's powerful, right?
Yeah,
It's
it's
progress.
very powerful and also very helpful, and something that you really radically changes your experience in this world of form, in a sense that I feel that when you really understand that you have two teachers that run the show in your mind, love or fear, you can call it as well, or Holy Spirit or ego, and you're
Yes.
constantly choosing either, and then you're responsible for that choice. You live a more beautiful, high vibrational life when you're in spirit. And I have to say, and I want to talk about now dedication and practice, because that's why the course has 365 lessons. There's no, that's why, is for the practice. And I feel that you're really good at that. And I wanted you to share how important it is to really integrate these principles, because that's how we really see change. I feel that sometimes, and I'm sure that you've come across this with your students, just like I have, you know, people want to change, but not really.
Yeah. It's you said it. Why we have enormous resistance, Maria.
Yeah, it's like I want to change, but not really, because we still want to hold on to something. And I know because I've been there. I've
Yes.
been there, done that. I've been like, I want to have an amazing relationship. I want to have an amazing spiritual man in my life that's loving, that's blah, 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 a spiritual hunk, like I like to
Yeah.
say it. And I wanted it so bad, but at the same time, I wasn't practicing that in my life. I was looking in all the wrong places for love, which was outside of me. I was also looking for love in all the wrong places and all these like men that weren't available. And I wasn't in alignment. So it was like I am love, I would say, but I wasn't practicing self-love daily in my life with myself or others until I started to do that. And now I've manifested and created in my life Christian, which is a beautiful spiritual hunk.
Yeah.
And I've been able to create that. And he's such a beautiful soul because I change within. But I feel that I am love, period, needs to happen. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. And it's so true. Once again, we go back to the mind, right? Now we're taught in many the spiritual buffet line, I kind of call it, as you were alluding to later, we try these different techniques and we try all these things, but we don't go within first. And
I like that.
here's what I think is really important, right? We're going to have all these different choices or myriad of seeming choices here, right? But if we go within first and we understand that, you know what, we are love, everything where I really am is okay. And if we put out there something that we want to manifest, do we have to put our salvation in it?
That's
This is what
powerful.
the course would ask us is it's fine if we want to manifest things. It's built into the script, the life script here that we're viewing, that we want to manifest things. What the problem comes in is that our salvation is in it. And that's making it so real that I'm not going to be happy unless I get the outward thing. Instead of manifesting anything in the dream is fine. It's built into the script. Some things will be able to manifest, Some things we won't, but guess what? If it's not who we are and is not the thing that brings us peace and happiness, we're okay. Guess what? Water's magic. Food is magic. We want to drink water. We want to eat food. And guess what? We want a hunky man. But is our salvation in it? Can't we just say, oh my gosh, again, what's our starting point? I wake up in the Holy Spirit mind, and it's like a game. It's like, oh, I want to manifest this guy. Okay, here's what I do. And I write all this down. Well, you're already doing that. That's in the script, scripted out for you. Then maybe you just go have a sandwich or something. Your whole identity is not wrapped into it. That's the ego thought system making everything real, believing you're a body. So again, the Course's radical teaching is that do the things you're going to do. You're going to do those things. Who are you going to do it with? Which voice am I going to follow in the dream? Which voice am I going to listen to while I'm doing all these things? Maybe it's these manifesting techniques have been scripted out for me. So all of a sudden I find myself finding these great tools and everything, and I use them. Just the difference is, who are you doing it with? And is your salvation in it? If your salvation is in it, you're furthering illusion and you're dependent on that. But if you're just doing an activity, the body just responds to the intentions of the mind. So if you're just doing an activity, but then you're just like, okay, yeah, I'll do that. Let's see what happens. Awesome. And then see, it's just a distinction. And then we can do all the things we want to do here peacefully, right? Because on the flip side, Maria, it's really interesting. People will not do something because it's not spiritual, right? But that's making it real, just as real on the other side by your resistance to doing it because it's not spiritual. See? So the ego is so tricky, isn't it? It gets in there because it wants us to say, yeah, you're a body and your salvation comes from everything outside of yourself, right?
I love that, because what I'm listening to is basically that it's not bad to manifest. It's just within that
What the mind
manifestation,
does.
if that thing is going to complete you, basically, or is it going to make you happy, or is it going to define you? And I think that that's the distinction there, because I don't think it's bad to want things in form. As a human being, you want things in form. One of them being, you want water, or you want an underwear, clean underwear, whatever it is, right?
These are things that bodies do.
Exactly. And but also is these are what, or let's say a Mercedes, is that going to define you, or is that going to complete you, or does that make you happy, or does that make you comfortable? Things like that I think is just important to observe. And I love that we're coming up with this topic of manifesting, because it's been coming up a lot in my life, especially being last week I talked to JM about this, and also it's something that's come up in my relationship with Christian, because a while back he said to me, well, if then I'm not going to go out in form and not want things in form, then and I'm just going to trust, then I might as well just not do anything. So I think sometimes people get confused with the message of the Course. Like, it's not that you do anything. It's not like Ken Wapnick has said, it's not like you go quit your job. It's not that. It's just what you're saying is just don't look outside for you to be whole and complete, because you're already whole and complete. And from that space, you co-create with spirit. And there's going to be promptings that are very spontaneous. It's not even manipulated. It's not even controlled. It's just.
Yes. When you think of it this way, this is what the mind does. The mind creates our illness, so the mind can eradicate our illness. The mind, does this, and the mind does that. So the mind can manifest, but Jesus tells us in the Course, at some point, do we want to stay on the bottom rung of the ladder? Meaning, do we want to keep playing around in form, which we're not feeling guilty about that? He's just saying that for the purposes of clarification, you eventually kind of move up the rungs of the ladder, and you're understanding that, oh my gosh, it's not really what happens here that's really interesting. It's with whom am I watching this with who is the teacher in my mind? And you know what, Maria? we're able to have peace no matter what is going on outside of us. That's the
True.
gift of A Course in Miracles. It's only about mind. It doesn't say anything about behavior, what you should do or not do here. It just wants you to have the right teacher in mind first, because that will slowly bring you from illusion to spirit, going from mindlessness in the world, lost in the dream, to mindfulness of saying, oh my gosh, I am the dreamer of this dream, and I can see it differently. It's the power of the miracle. The miracle shows us who the dreamer is. And from above the battleground, we can kind of contrast these two dreams, the egos and the Holy Spirits, and say, gosh, as the Holy Spirit takes over our mind, we just favor inner peace, joy, and happiness so much. And it's not dependent on outward circumstances, but we enjoy them when enjoyment is called for in the script. And we enjoy it when we manifest something. We go, oh my gosh, this came into me. How fun. Okay, what's for dinner? I mean, we generalize, you know, an illusion is an illusion is an illusion.
Or you enjoy it when you're doing karaoke.
Yeah.
You should
One of my favorite things to do.
see Jackie hitting the microphone and doing karaoke at Cindy's place. She was
That's
like,
right.
with her little black outfit, she looked like a sexy bomb girl.
Oh,
She was like, woo! She was so happy, and you know,
oh
like
that's
your inner child was so like fully self-expressed. I
oh,
love it.
Cindy and I love singing and love karaoke. I'm a little hoarse right now for people that maybe know me out there. They're, oh, she sounds a little different. I'm just getting over a little chest cold. But yeah, I love karaoke, singing. So when Cindy got that machine, we're like, oh, we're gonna have a lot of fun nights over here.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is that we could even use that as an example. Like for instance, Cindy's a professional singer, so
Yes.
you know she loves to sing and she sings with Gary when they're doing workshops. And
Yes.
you know, if you're gonna take like her as a singer, is like you know, you could manifest, and it's like, wow, her purpose is to sing and she loves to sing, and that's manifestation. She could manifest, you know, jobs as singing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But on the other side is if she's making it very real and that's her identity, which means if she doesn't get the gig, she gets sad, or if, which is fine. But do you know what I mean? There's two different distinction of like, you could
Yeah.
manifest and have these beautiful things in life and be a singer and be singing worldwide, or at the same time, you could be like, oh my God, I really want to record this and it better work. And I'm going to produce a CD and I want to sell 20,000 of them. It's a different energy than
Yes.
allowing for God's will to be done versus your will ultimately. And that's where the key is. And this is such like a big subject for me because this is so huge nowadays, because a lot of
Yes.
people suffer because of manifestation, because they don't manifest their dreams or their goals, and they get depressed and they make it very, very, very real, and they even commit suicide. And we're seeing that now, even with like Kate Spade passing away and that chef passing away. Materially, they have everything. You would think they manifested everything, and you would think that that would bring them happiness. And on the contrary, it didn't,
Yeah.
right? So, and I just feel like nowadays when I look on Facebook, I just get goosebumps when I see 7 steps to manifesting, or 7 steps for your goals to come true, or there's like the internet saturated with like courses and endless courses and online programs. And I even have one coming out. It's like endless of all these things, and I'm not saying they're bad,
Right.
but also I want to bring in this message of that this whole story of that your happiness is outside of you and manifesting will bring you happiness. It's very helpful for it to be transformed and changed, because I think as a society we're just going to be happier. True happiness, not
Exactly.
cheerleader happiness.
Well said. Well said. True happiness. Because what happens, Maria, when we get one thing, the dream, we want another thing, or now we want this, or now we want that. It never ends here. You know, the ego's motto is seek and do not find, Jesus tells us in the Course. So we can find temporary relief here, a modicum of peace here and there if we get a windfall of or something like that. But then what happens after that? And what happens after that? And so I think one of the things that's so unique about A Course in Miracles, if people decide that it's the path for them, and there are many paths. We know thousands, the course says this is one path in the universal curriculum. But if it is for you, one of the unique things that's so powerful is that, as you were saying, oh, there's all these people have all these books and how to manifest. Well, they're trying to fix the illusion from within the illusion. The course is waking you up from your dream that there is a world. It's asking you to change your thought that gave rise to the world, no matter what you're doing in the world. It's not a minor distinction. The course says one of my favorite lines, tranquil mind is not a little gift. Well, boy, can you imagine being peaceful no matter what was going on around you? Peaceful in the mind, knowing you're not peaceful because you're more spiritual than someone, you're more advanced, you're older, you've learned your lessons. You're peaceful because you recognize that what you're seeing isn't true. You're more peaceful.
And that feels so good.
Yes, for people that understand what the course is actually saying. Doesn't mean you don't do things in the world. We have to. We're not asked to deny that.
Yeah.
We're asked to look at it differently. That's how we slowly awaken from the dream of fear. If we woke up and went poof in the night, we would be like, oh, it would be so scary. So Jesus leads us from our nightmare dreams to a gentler dream where we're looking at the world differently. We're slowly undoing the separation idea. We're slowly undoing and remembering we're the dreamer. We're at cause. Course is a course in cause, not effect, the world. So the effect takes care of itself. You know?
And that's what Jesus was really good at, is to not making this world real. Just like Buddha is the same, and all these enlightened people, they were just really, really good at not making the world so real. And I think that that's where the whole manifesting topic comes in, is what's outside of you defining you. Are you making it real? Are you making it a big deal? Are you allowing it to take away your peace? Because ultimately, as we've all known, we've done the rat race, and you get a carrot, and you just want another carrot, and you want more carrots, and then you just want more. And it tends to, I got to the point that I was eating too many carrots, and I was done.
I was eating too many carrots.
Blow up. So,
well said. That's right.
I was like done. Yeah. So to conclude and to end, Jackie, I wanted to know, how do you live your happy?
Oh, with forgiveness. Because forgiveness is the key to happiness. And the lesson that follows that is forgiveness offers me everything I want, because I feel the peace and joy of the Creator all the time. Has nothing to do with what's happening out there on my screen. I live my happiness with forgiveness every day, which is recognizing that nothing outside of me can take my peace away without my permission.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today. It was amazing. It was a hot topic for me, which is this whole manifesting thing, because it's
right.
it's such a hot topic, and I feel that it's so beautiful to be able to bring a new message of a different type of manifestation, a way of living more in the world and understanding you're not of it. So thank you so much, dear sister. And
you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited about your book. And we love you. We appreciate everything you're doing. And to all you guys that are checking us out, please, if this video has inspired you, if you have found it helpful, I invite you to share it. I invite you to also take a look at Jackie's work, which we're going to put in the description box. And I also just wanted to say that in this dream world that we're in, you have the opportunity to live your happy regardless of what's going on in form, as Jackie has expressed to us so well today. So just remember, forgive even if you don't want to. Take responsibility if you don't want to, because you're going to live a happier experience. Till next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.